Welcome, fellow bow hunters, to the Outdoorsman by Design channel here on YouTube. Man, I'm excited, and many of you who know me know why I'm excited. Bow hunting season is right around the corner here in the Show Me State, folks. Opens September 15th. And from looking around the country at the other videos and whatnot I'm seeing that there's states where some kind of a deer season is already opened in, so that's great. I'm looking forward to watching your videos and commenting and the camaraderie that will ensue online, and it's been nice meeting friends and exchanging ideas, and I've learned a lot by watching your videos over the years. And just a few weeks back I was looking through our state's 2014 fall deer and turkey hunting regulations information booklet that Conservation Department puts out here in Missouri. It's a pretty classy publication. Full color. Just about everything you wanted to know. They also publish their wildlife code. It is very exhaustive. In Missouri we have what is called a permissive code, so talking with our county's conservation agent, I'm in Cass County here in west central Missouri. His name is Phil Needham. We have another gentleman too. I think they're kind of splitting the county up now. I'm not too sure exactly the deal, but for years we only had one conservation agent, and his name is Phil Needham. And Phil has always explained to me that with our permissive wildlife code here in Missouri, that if it does not say you can do it, then you cannot. So keep that in mind if you are hunting in Missouri. Another one of our publications that we have available to us is the Missouri Conservationist. Very classy magazine. It's free for Missouri residents, and I'm not sure how it works out for non-residents, but if you live in Missouri, get yourself a copy. In this 2014 fall deer and turkey pamphlet, it's called the Hunting Regulations Information. It's the source that you can get if you go to Wal-Mart. They have them at the Wal-Mart counters back in sporting goods. On page 11 is a request for folks to participate in a Bowhunter Observation Survey. I'll just read it to you real quick. The Conservation Department needs bow hunters to record the deer, turkeys, and fur bearers they see while hunting. This information helps biologists gauge the health and wildlife populations and set hunting regulations. And essentially you send your email address to an individual at the Conservation Department, and they mail you out the proper forms and whatnot. And I will go ahead and read the letter that I received from the Conservation Department. For any of you who are thinking about getting involved in this, I'll just go ahead and read this to you. Dear Missouri Bowhunter, thanks for volunteering to record animal observations during the course of your archery, deer, and turkey hunting. We'll use your sightings along with those of other bow hunters to monitor the status and annual trends for a variety of wild animal species. This will be the 30th season, we've been doing it for a while, that we have conducted this survey, and we are very pleased with the results thus far. In fact, I have the results from the 2013 season here that I'll briefly touch on here momentarily. This year we continue to include wild hogs on the list of species. Wild hogs are sometimes referred to as wild boar, Russian boar, or feral hogs. Now I know that we do have some of those in Cass County. I haven't run into any myself, but there are some areas here in west central Missouri where folks are having some issues with them. The period runs from September 15th, which again is our Show Me State bow season opener, to November 14th. So essentially it's the first half of the bow season, because that middle of November is roughly, I believe on the calendar, if I'm not mistaken, the second Saturday in November is when our firearm season opens. So that pretty much runs right up to that date. Only record observations of wildlife seen while bow hunting. Simply record the number of animals of each species sighted and the related information at the conclusion of your day's hunt. And they've got several species on here that I'll enumerate here for you in a minute. It is very important that you record the number of hours hunted each day. Space is provided for both morning and afternoon hunts, and the county in which you hunted. The Conservation Department here in Missouri is a Class Act agency. They really do a great job managing their properties. One in particular in the area that I've hunted for years prior to my having been given permission to hunt some private property. Some fairly large tract landowners have given me permission to put out trail cameras and deer stands and mineral licks and things like that. But prior to that, I did a lot of hunting out at the Amaruja Highlands Conservation Area in Cass County. It's more or less between Drexel and Harrisonville. And then way down in the extreme southeast corner of our county, I hunted a place called Settles Ford Conservation Area. And between Bates County and Cass County, it's something like 7,000 or 8,000 acres, somewhere in that vicinity. And I'm sure that the Conservation Department will continue to acquire properties in the area over the years, and it will continue to grow in size. Back to the letter here. Your observation record form and postage paid return envelope are enclosed. We have also included a summary of 2013 indices based on data received from last year's survey. If you would like your record form returned after our use, just provide your name and address on the back of this form. I can normally read better than this. You know how it is when you're on camera. Anyway, so essentially we're recording what we see while we're hunting. We're not going to show what we're doing while we're on the trail cameras, while we're out scouting and that sort of thing. What they want to see is when you're actually bow hunting. The time that you're on stand in a ground blind, crawling up on your prey, what have you. They want to see what you experience while you're hunting. And they're asking for observations regarding the following animals: antlered buck, does, fawns, and unknown deer. Sometimes you just can't tell what it is depending on where you're at on this, in terms of how far out you are from the animal you're hunting. Wild turkey, coyote, red fox, gray fox. I don't believe I've seen any grays in Cass County, but there may be some. Bobcats. I've run into bobcats in my time hunting. I've actually seen some playing on a hay bale behind my stand one time years ago when I was hunting out near, well, let's see here. Don't want to give this one away. Don't want to give any of them away. Let's just say it was West Central Missouri. So, raccoons, possums, striped skunk, badgers, black bear, and wild hogs. Now, we'll get over here to what we saw last year. Again, this is my first year participating in this. I thought this was pretty interesting. It shows in Bates County. I'll make sure I follow this over here right and not fibbing to you. But on the first page of the 2013 wildlife indices based on sightings by cooperator archery hunters, sightings per 1,000 hours. So, once again, these are sightings per 1,000 hours of bow hunting. The county that is straight south of me here in Cass County is Bates County. And so, per 1,000 hours of hunting, bow hunters sighted 7 bears in Bates County. How about that, Corey Merriman? 7 bears. I had some videos a while back with Destry and I running around down at Settles Ford and ran into what we thought was bear sign. Some fallen logs that had been scratched up and whatnot, and I've come to find out that through the help of my friends on YouTube that the bears like to tear up those logs that have fallen and eat the bugs out of them and everything. Videoing this from my home office here. If you hear a bunch of stuff going on in the background, like people emptying the dishwashers and ceiling fans rattling from people walking around and stuff, just try to ignore it. But getting to the deer side of things here, last year in Cass County, the number that is reported for sightings per 1,000 hours of time hunted by bow hunters, 527 for deer, 409 for turkey. And I'll touch on another one here. We had 40 coyotes per 1,000 hours hunted. I don't know if that's a huge hunter. I don't know if that's a huge number or not. I know a lot of you guys hunt coyotes actively. I've never done that, but I have seen my fair share of them while I've been out and about. I've only seen them a few times while I've been bow hunting. They're a pretty skittish critter. Now, years ago down at Settles Ford, I remember a little brush that I had with some one time. I was walking out with my climber and everything on my back because I've never put up a ladder down there. I've always used climbers down at that particular property, being public land. And these coyotes were probably maybe 100 yards from me or so, something like that, and they were on the other side of a hedgerow, and it was, you know how active they get at dark 30, and there was a bunch of them, so I was kind of trying to hang back, and I needed to head that way to get to my truck. So, and that was back when the conservation department prohibited us, period, from carrying firearms with us while we were bow hunting. Now, there are some provisions that have been made for that, but I would say check the wildlife code before you venture out with your bow and having a sidearm in tow. I know that in today's day and age of everybody wanting to protect themselves, which is your God-given right, this isn't a video where I'm going to touch on those kind of things, but I would say I do the best I can to be a law-abiding citizen. In fact, there's an area that I do a lot of fishing at, Lake Harrisonville. You've seen a lot of my videos coming from that property. And that's the water supply reservoir for the city of Harrisonville, Missouri. I had a little discussion a while back with our conservation agent about having seen folks out there who have been doing catching their bait fish via the signing method. They'll go out there with a net and they'll throw it out there, and they'll take in shad and whatnot and use them for bait at night. And you know, plenty of places across the state of Missouri that is perfectly legal. Out at Lake Harrisonville, the city code says that that is not permissible. Talking with our conservation agent, he feels that that is a relatively antiquated regulation, but in our discussion, and I believe, if I remember right, Phil had mentioned to me that you know, he was encouraging me to continue to follow the wildlife code there, even though that is something that is permitted by the Missouri Wildlife Code on that property. The more specific regulations on that particular property, since the city owns it and runs it, say that no signing is permissive. So that no signing is permissible. So I just decided to not do it. Some guys still go out there and do it. To me, if you don't like laws and regulations, lobby to have them changed. Don't go out there and break the law. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. But participating this year in the Bowhunter Observation Survey, so I'll be recording what I see. And I do believe there's some other information on here. They have, of course, like I said, the AM and the PM hunts. They'll want to know what county you're in. They also have a column for other. anything else that you happen to sight. I wouldn't think they would want to see birds and things like that on there, of course, but I'd say if you happen to catch a eagle, I'd throw that in there. I know we've got some eagles nests in Cass County. One in particular is out on the west end of Lake Harrisonville, if you're interested. And then a small area for notes. It looks like they want to know like weather conditions and things like that. Now, I'm going to be more than happy to complete this log and mail it to them so that I can do my part in letting other hunters know what's out there, and also help the conservation department manage their properties and just figure out how they're going to set the regulations for hunting statewide. Now, on a closing note, I would say to you, one of the things that I've been thinking about doing a video on for a while, and I'll just go ahead and throw this in your here. I still may do a video on it down the road, but I have kept for years a hunting log. And my hunting log just started out when our kids were young, basically just me printing out a calendar and writing on there, you know, we'd have set in stone the things that we have to do, like soccer games and birthdays and things like that that I needed to be at. And then all the other stuff I would be able to say, okay, well, I'm going to try to hunt this day, and it would just be a tiny little square that I would be writing in, and I would be writing my observations in. And I couldn't get a lot of data in there regarding moon phase and different things like that. So I thought, well, let's advance a little bit here. So eventually, my hunting log has evolved into what basically what I'm doing now is I do a screen snip with Windows, and I cut out an area of Google Earth of the area that I'm hunting. The area, Google Earth is a wonderful tool if you haven't figured that out already, to do your scouting from and record your observations. I do a little snip of the screen, and I write all my information on there, the property that I was on, if I had any discussions with the landowner that day, if I killed anything, and if I did, I go ahead and I attach my permit to that page. Anything from moon phase to wind direction to all the critters that I see while I'm out there, to thoughts that I have for future hunts, notes to myself, you know, you drew too fast, and or you rushed the shot, and I'm really big on trying to make the most ethical shot I can, so I always want to remind myself in writing, and not that I really need to, because a lot of those moments really kind of have a way of sticking with you over the years anyway. But I've killed deer that I've hit high before. Thankfully I've never gut shot any deer, but hopefully that time will not come. But we'll do the best we can to keep that from happening. But I've spine shot them. I've shot that last year on September 20th. I killed a doe at 20 yards that I cut that vein that runs, that main artery that runs kind of below the I forget the name of it, the spine area. But she didn't go more than 40-50 yards and bled out pretty quick. But you got to watch your angles when you're in tree stands, guys, because it's a whole lot different than shooting from the ground. But like I say, I can go on forever here. We're going to try to wrap this up, and I'm looking forward to getting after them here real soon. I'm looking forward to watching your videos and sharing them with you, and let's hook up on Facebook. You can see that I've got a Facebook link there in the video description, and if we turn out to be good enough friends via YouTube and our Outdoorsman by Design on Facebook, perhaps we'll hook up via my individual account there, but that's something that I kind of reserve for future opportunities. So I want to thank you for watching, and I want to wish you happy hunting, and I want to mention something that Dr. Grant Woods of Growing Deer TV likes to say, that I've really become quite fond of. When you're out there in creation, take time and be still and listen to what the Creator is saying to you. I appreciate you watching, guys, and we'll be talking to you.